Go ahead and get us going.
Yeah. Hey, Matt, how are you?
Good.
What's made Michigan so good this year?
They have a really good offense, and they have a really good defense.
Good start.
You go look at the numbers, you're like, yeah, they're the best offensive team in our league. And you look at the numbers, and you're like, yep, and they're the best defensive team in the league. So, Juwan's done a great job, and they have a really good mix of experience, skill, guys that are competitive, size. So when you look at getting a team and trying to blend guys together, like in today's game, and obviously they take Chandri Brown and Mike Smith, and they've just been great additions for him. And obviously Hunter Dickinson's been a all-conference performer, with his ability to pass, rebound, compete, score. And, they just, to go along with the guys that were there before, obviously Livers and Wagner are really, really tough matchups. Eli's a guy that can break you down off the dribble, shoot, got a good basketball IQ. So, just across the board, they just have a really good balance, both on the offense and defensive end.
How do you match up with Livers?
It's hard. Obviously he can stretch you out, with his ability to shoot. He can break you down off the dribble. He can score on the interior. You just have to make it hard. Like any other good player, you got to make it hard. You can't let them get to the free throw line, get layups, get open rhythm threes. Just, contest the best that you can. Be there on the catch. Don't get behind plays. But if he's going to get, layups and, runouts and, he gets in the passing lanes and does a good job there. Him and Wagner, Brown, they do a really good job of getting into the passing lanes. Not to say that the other two guards don't, but those guys are normally more guys that are, putting pressure on the ball, denying, making things difficult. Like I said, they have a really good team, and Livers is one of the guys that makes them go.
Yeah. Can you just speak to the specific challenges Dickinson presents to Trevion and Zach?
Yeah, it's you can't let guys of that size get low. A lot of times guys that are that big can get put in bad spots, and he rarely gets put in bad spots. What I mean by that, when you get pushed out, can you make passes? Well, he's a great passer. He understands the game. He works to get deep position. You can play him as a passer up top in their 5-out stuff. You can play him as a passer in elbow action. You can play him as a passer in the low post or the mid post. So there's a lot of different ways that he can hurt you with his ability to pass. And then obviously he's been really good scoring at the rim. He's getting dunks, he's getting layups, he's getting jump hooks. But if you take something away from him, he'll spin off of you and, go make a play and get a reverse layup or a dunk, or, he's just a good player. He'd be a good player if he wasn't 7 foot. Most guys that are 7 foot, that's their number one strength is their ultimate size. He's really cerebral and a tough-minded kid and can rebound his position, and just a tough matchup. But it's also a challenge. You look across our league, there's a lot of really good big guys, a lot of good players, period. But so when you have good big guys yourself, it's a challenge every night to go out and try to outplay them and outcompete them, and that's what this league brings out in your players.
Right. How do you feel like Zach is better now than he was in December when you first started Big Ten play?
Well, he doesn't turn the ball over as much, and he doesn't foul as much. Those two things right there has really helped him. He still gets bottled up sometimes, and he lets contact get him away from what he wants to do at times. He's just got to get good position and hopefully get a dunk or a short jump hook. But if not, then he has to go to his post moves. And he understands things defensively. I think he's done a better job in ball screen D. He's done a better job in post D. He's played well. He's done some good things for us. I thought he had a really good game against Ohio State.
Yeah. Have you pinpointed anything Trevion might need to do to avoid the foul trouble that's hit him the last 2 games?
Stop fouling him. That's the pinpoint. He's fouling him.
Anything more to it than that?
Yeah, no, it's just, you work on things, you guard people, have discipline, and don't foul people. We're going back and watching tape. He's reaching 80 feet away from our basket. You have to have discipline in this game. And if you're going to keep doing those things, they're going to keep calling them. And, other night, the fouls that he had were, one of them was on a shot when he just walked into E.J. Liddell and just stay straight up and make him score over you. So, it's just one of those things where, when you keep doing the same thing, that's what you're supposed to do when you do, you do things well. Keep doing them. But when you do things, that don't have any discipline, it's going to get you in foul trouble and have you sitting out 10 to 15 minutes in the first half. It doesn't make sense. So why would you turn around and do it the next game? And so just, bad habits. We've tried to work with him and talk to him about not reaching and putting himself in those positions, but he continues to do so. And I'm just glad he plays well in the second half because he's been really good in the second half.
I'm good. Thank you, Matt.
Yep.
Mike Carmen, got anything?
Matt, is the foul trouble on Trevion kind of it's allowed you to play Zach some more minutes. Would he be getting those minutes if Trevion wasn't in foul trouble?
Yeah, he probably wouldn't get as much. It depends on how Trevion's playing. But when, if you're consistent and you're playing well, like I forget which game that we had. Maybe it was Michigan State. He ended up getting 30 minutes, and Zach didn't play as well. Just because we were going to him so much, But yeah, it's it allows that to happen, because you're as a coach, you're going to play who's ever playing well, and we've been able to establish Trevion in the second half, and that's what we want to do to start the game. We want him to have two. Think about his numbers the other night, and once again he does the same thing, and he's got 16 and 7. Against Penn State, he plays half the game, he gets 13 and 11. Like, what if you just throw in 8 more minutes there? I mean, he's going to have a really, really good stat line. But I always look at it as one player. I've always done that with big guys just because they have such a, they're so prone to foul. Is that you go look at Zach's numbers, you look at Trevion's numbers, you got 40 minutes, and then you put them together. Most of the time when you look at that combined, it's been pretty effective. So I don't get too down about it because we got 2 really good centers. So that's what he does. And, just be positive and try to help the next guy out.
Thank you.
No problem.
Dakota, you think Coach Painter?
Yeah. Hey, Coach. Obviously, a quick rise from Michigan under Juwan Howard, and I know you said they just play really good offense and really good defense, but can you get into specifics on what makes them so good, at least on the offensive end? Just is it their sets or obviously they have guys that can score the basketball?
Yeah, it's a combination of everything. Like, their defense is good, so that's going to create some offense right there, and then they get in transition and they get rhythm threes or quick post-ups or quick ball screen action or pin action, and then they play off of it. And, when they run stuff in the half court, they're very good in ball screens. They got good decision makers. They have experienced players. They got guys rolling to the basket that have size that can finish. They got people coming behind that can shoot. They put you in a bind at all times when they're playing because they have, good decision makers, good skill, and good size.
I know we're only about halfway through the conference schedule right now, but just talk about the importance of this game, trying to get a win at home and maintain your distance to the top of the conference here with Michigan and Iowa. Yeah, it's
another opportunity. And sometimes you're in a league and you don't get too many opportunities to play teams that you absolutely know are going to go to the NCAA tournament. Well, we're playing a lot of those teams. And, those are great opportunities to have, but you also got to prove yourself. You also got to go out and be productive. And but this is a big game, but it's a big game for both of us. You're just trying to get better. You're trying to take on another style. I think we have a lot of similarities in our league, but there's also differences. I think Michigan is different. I think they're very experienced. I think their ability to pass and move the ball, their basketball IQ is very good across the board. Their coaching is very good. Juwan Howard's done an exceptional job, and just the culture he's been in, with the Miami Heat, definitely comes out, and you can see the discipline, the toughness, the execution. They run a lot of good stuff, man. A lot of good stuff. And you just have to be prepared. You got to do a good job on the ball. You got to do a good job away from it. You have to be alert. And they, like I said, they really put you in a bind and make you make decisions on how you're going to handle certain actions.
Last thing for me, your offensive sets, and I know Coach Shrewsbury draws a lot of those up, have been really effective. Do you see that really being a pivotal piece to trying to get a win here tomorrow night?
I think it's a pivotal piece anytime you put yourself in position to win. And Micah Shrewsbury's an excellent coach. And, as a head coach, I'd be a fool not to use that asset. He's got a wealth of experience, and obviously his experience of being in the Big Ten and coaching at Butler and, being with Brad Stevens with the Boston Celtics. And he's drawing all that up. You said most of it. He's drawing all of that. And that's something that I went to about 4 or 5 years ago, as Greg, Gary, and I kind of went back and forth and kind of shared that responsibility, as most head coaches do all of that. And I just was like, you know, kind of managing the game and managing players and substituting and dealing with players. And he was just such an offensive guy anyways. And Jack Owens was such a defensive guy. You know, we went to it at that time and we really kind of fell in love with it. And the more I kind of interjected or did some things, you know, I made it worse instead of better, just because it kind of messed with the flow of things. Even though what I was saying, there was, you know, there's things out there that you can pick on. It just allowed the flow of it. So I really got that way with Coach Gary. And it's like the more that you let us kind of set a game plan and then sticking to that, and then just picking your spots on some of those specials that you're running, especially how people guard out of bounds plays or side out of bounds plays or late game situations. And Micah's done a great job, just a fabulous job, and really has exploited here in the past 3 or 4 games some things, and allowed us to steal some points. And you look back and you see how much points we've gotten out of bounds plays or out of timeouts or into play, you know, into game stuff. Like he made some really good calls, I thought, in the Indiana game, and made some exceptional calls in the Ohio State game.
Appreciate it, Coach.
Oh, no problem.
Andrew, you got anything?
Yeah, thanks. Hey, Matt, for folks who haven't seen you guys, you know, too much this year, as far as your kind of lineage of big men, you know, they know Isaac and Matt, and now how is Zach similar or different? Because just by size, I mean, you see, here's another, monster guy, but I'm sure he's different in some ways.
Yeah. They have some similarities. Isaac and him have similarities. Zach moves better than Isaac. And I think that's where that helps him from a rebounding standpoint, just the mobility. Isaac probably got a little deeper position. Zach's doesn't have quite the trunk that he has, but Zach still is pretty strong, and Zach's pretty competitive. And Zach's pretty skilled. Like, it hasn't come out yet because he hasn't got quite to that comfort level where, you know, he's getting the basketball and feeling good about his turnaround or a catch and shoot at the free throw line or things of that nature. But in time, that will come. But no, there's similarities, obviously a couple differences. Zach's a better free throw shooter now, even though Isaac really made strides his second year here in his free throws and got much better. So, but we're fortunate to have him. He's done a great job for us.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Anyone else? Cool. All right. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thanks for being patient.
Thanks, Matt. Thanks, Chris.
Thanks,
Yeah,
guys.
thank you.